Get out the insurance cards, get out the co-pays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by DrRoto.com.
So let's get to it.
Bring the pain!
What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Ooh, yeah. What a crazy weekend we actually had. So as you can see, this is a live show. So while I'm live, I will answer your questions. I will be talking about, of course, UFC Vegas 117. I will also be talking about the MVP MMA card. Now, I don't want to give too much time into that. Normally, I go through a full breakdown, talk a little bit about it. I'm going to speed that up today because I really want to get to the potatoes and meats of this podcast, and the meats being the NFL at the last, because I did an NFL draft last Thursday after the Fight Club of Pain. I had mentioned it during the Fight Club of Pain with Dan last week that I was actually getting an invite to a special league. So that's crazy, man. And I get to tell you all about it. I'm going to actually put the board up, show you how the draft went down, and talk a little bit about it. Of course, this is going to be, you will get all of that information at the end of the show. But of course, you want to like, follow, and share Dr. Roto on YouTube. Also follow at Heat Override on the X. Get into the subs only Discord, because being on the website and being in the subs only Discord is two different levels. You get a lot of information like the 5-tastic picks on the website and other things, like of course all the seasonal fantasy baseball talk, all of the hidden stuff for the DFS. But of course, you get a lot of free podcasts, this being one of them. But of course, this being a review talking about that. And that's a little topic I wanted to bring up too. So remember to like, follow, share, ask us some questions. Then you want to get over to drroto.com, use code word WIN, and get a percentage off of your subscription so we can help you become our rich friend. That is the total goal at Dr. Roto, to teach you the methods, to make you feel confident, for maybe step out and do your own thing one day, or maybe just be part of the crew and hang out, come on podcasts, enter leagues, and win free shirts like my people always do and bring the pain injury. Oh, yeah. That's what we do, man. But I'm excited. I'm excited today to talk about this card. And honestly, it was just a great weekend overall. As a lot of you know, I handle the MLB betting write-ups on drroto.com only on Saturday and Sunday. And then I also handle the full slate Sunday DFS slate, which went phenomenal again. Everybody has different angles. I'm different, but sometimes people, and I will say this, most times with my lineups, you're getting a lot of 10 to 15% people that can change the slate. And that's kind of what we like to do. Of course, we have tools at DFS Hero. Use code word DOC, get a percentage off your subscription. And I don't want to forget our guy, Travis at Player Props AI. Use code word DOC, get yourself a percentage off of your first month subscription. I'm telling you right now, we highlight the Player Props AI bet practically every day. My article on the weekends both get one, and they both hit, and they have hit since I went to no runs first inning a lot. And then this week I bought back to pitchers. So for me, you're getting everything. You're getting the home run calls, you're getting the knockout bets, you're getting the sub bets, you're getting money line parlays, you're getting tennis. The guys are giving you golf. The golf show came out today in the cup, so you want to make sure you check that out at Dr. Roto if you're looking forward to play some PGA or golf, period. I think there's two big slates. And of course, tennis went over pretty good today, but I have a match delayed till tomorrow. So my double up for tomorrow and my full slate for tomorrow. Wait, they actually, on the betting side, they voided my bet, and they're going to pay me out as long as Tommy Paul, won his match. It was a pretty close match, but we were able to get that. So I just want to make sure everybody knows what we're getting into, but I am going to get to the card, and I am going to talk about this Pro Forecast Magazine fantasy football draft between 12 experts. 12 experts. And your boy, Heat Override. Oh, yeah. Love seeing those likes. Come on, people. Let's get it up. But let's get to the show. Let's move along now before we get into it. Right? So boom. All right. So for the Fight Club of Pain, Dan and I covered 3 of the MVP fights and only the main fight for the UFC Vegas 117. Now, I did give out the Parlay of Pain, which covered the entire, part of the UFC Vegas 117 card. Also, Dan and I then flipped over, and then we did pretty much the Parlay Corral was mostly the MVP MMA on Netflix. So you definitely, that was a really, really, really cool thing to kind of do this time. You know what I'm saying, people? Like, to me, it was one of the things that, you don't get a chance to get 2 fight cards in one night. So I had people getting knocked out all night. I had people getting submitted all night. And we're going to talk about our first fight of the night, and that is Nicole Cagliari versus Shauna Bannon. If you did not know, or if you did not listen to me, you had to play sub and points on the Cagliari side. And that worked out great for me. Again, people, we are going to move through this pretty fast because when I get to the NFL, I start running my mouth, man. We got Daniel Barrez versus Luis Gural. I thought a knockout could have happened in this. Instead, Gural got the win. I did pick Gural for the win, and that pulled off nice. Ardeline came out great too. So at this point, I'm hitting my submissions. I'm hitting my unders. Feeling good, like I always preach on the Fight Club of Pain, that you will win your money before the main events start. And that was evident. Except this week, because it was funny because the MVP fight started pretty much after the UFC Vegas 117 was done. So because Dan and I covered mostly the MVP fights on Netflix, my money was still about to come in, and oh boy, did it come in. And I'm going to talk about that later in this podcast, whether it's, some people consider it bloating, or we bragging, or what are we doing when we do these things? Yo, what's up, Dan? How you doing, man? I was just talking in. Good to see you, man. Another crazy day at work for yourself. Another crazy day for me as well. I was just popping in. So let's get over to Cody Brundage, Dan Soup Can of the Week. Woo! If you didn't know that Cody Brundage was going to get a knockout, you didn't listen to 2 podcasts in this world. And that was We Want Picks, and that was the Fight Club of Pain. Being the Soup Can of the Week, Cody Brundage ate more than Diddy Moore. He ate more than Chunky. He ate all of it together. He took gumbo. He took borscht. And he washed it down with a cup of clam chowder from New England. And in the end, it spelled a win and a knockout that was so beautiful. And a knockout that paid so well. So again, that's why you listen to the free shows, people. Calandana did upset Cavalcanti. That sucked. I just had this feeling Vieira was going to win that fight. This goes back to the levels talk Dan and I always talk about. And that's it. I'm feeling you, Dan. Yes, the Soup Can delivery. Like a whole... I don't understand why Campbell's is not sponsoring the Fight Club of Pain at Dr. Roto. The Soup Can of the Week. I mean, Progresso. Do you want some? Come get some. I got it. I got slogans for you. We got the soup that'll cure all your needs with the DFS. Let's make some green. I don't know. We're just flying at this. I know my boy Dan is laughing because he's like, I don't have to put up with this live. I do not have to put up with this live. So, of course, you guys know this is a live podcast. I got people in. But I got to my guy, my number one dude, Tommy Gant, gets ultra-minute. Dude, Tommy Gant reminded me of a young Leon Edwards, or a Leon Edwards that was up in there. This boy went in there and wrapped that boy up. In the minute that with that first round, I was just looking at it. I was like, oh, this is not going to be too much longer. He was physically moving Minev's block and submission attempts out of the way to hit him. That just means that Tommy Gant was not only more powerful, but ready to display this power across the rest of the lightweight division. Woo! And then we got Dukas Tokos versus Avan Oslan. I don't know how nobody knocked anybody out, especially at the end of the first round. What was wrong with you two? You guys are just trading punches. Arslan should have honestly went down. Tukos, you let it down. You made this go the distance. I don't like distance. You broke a dang parlay. All right, now we got our guy. We got our boy, Nikolai Volkanovski versus Chaos Williams. And Chaos Williams was a little scary at first. Varenitenikov just looked like he wasn't really to be there. Yes, they do suck, Dan. They do suck. But dude, Chaos Williams landing those uppercuts, knowing that fight was going to go over, getting the plus money. The plus money, people. And man, did that come out. If I don't feel bad, I feel like we let y'all out on some money and we can cover this. But guess what? I don't care because we hit on the MVP MMA card on Netflix. So that's what's up, man. Okay, let's get to Timmy Kawamba versus Bernardo Sopaj. All right, I'm going to say this right now. This is why all of you people who do not get punched in the face need to really relax. I know that you can read a fight. There's been some great coaches that haven't been fighters, and there's been some legendary coaches that have been fighters. There is a difference. There are levels to this game. I say this, Dan says this. Every knowledgeable UFC MMA podcast or fighter or bettor in this industry or outside of it knows that if you can read how a fight goes down, you might be able to narrow down certain things. And the fact that I had the Sopaj second round submission shows that I did my math. I had the first and second and third, all hit in the middle for some beautiful stuff. Also had the knockout as a cover, but I knew Timmy Kawamba wasn't going to do much, man. So let's just move along. Now, Christian Edwards gave Modestas Bukauskas everything he could handle, right? And for some reason, Christian Edwards just took every power blow from Bukauskas. So now, Bukauskas, I'm worried about your power. I'm worried about your power, but I'm happy to see you didn't gas this time. So I see what happened. You gassed last time. You lost. Should have had the knockout. Didn't know how you didn't get that knockout. Ref kind of gave out some leniency on that. Whatever. Still salty. It's the way it is. But you came back and you followed it up with a distance fight. So as a fighter, I will commend you for that. You improved on what you sucked at last time. Good job. Now we get to the biggest fraud check in the world. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. Okay. Malcolm Wellmaker had this fight completely taken over. And we get to the second round. The first round kind of got me a little bit. I was like, all right, Diaz knows how to beat him now. Diaz goes right out there, gets him right on the ground. And the minute Wellmaker gets near that cage, go watch the replay. He curdled up like a little baby. A little baby. Wah, wah. I'm a little baby now. I'm going to be worse than Chris Curtis. I'm going to go a little baby. You literally fetal positioned. And then when Diaz went for the choke, you look scared shitless, bro. You look scared and you just let him do it. You just let him do it. Wellmaker, you're supposed to win this fight. This is your career. You don't take this shit just for fun. You need to go in there knowing you got taken down last time and work that and make that a focal point or try to make sure that it doesn't happen. And guess what happened? You got beat. You got choked out. And you looked horrible before it happened. You looked horrible while it happened. And it's horrible that I'm still talking about it because you suck. I still like you, though. But now we got Doho Choi, the underdog, getting that knockout, that second round knockout on Santos. Loved it. Everybody in the industry was on Santos. I went to Choi because I wanted to be on the same page as my DFS lineups for this one, and I did it. Got Choi, got that second knockout, showed you guys why the Fight Club of Pain is a problem in this industry, especially across the industry on multiple levels. We will get to that, people. Then we get to the main event. Arnold Allen showed exactly Melquiza Costa where he belongs. The back of the line. The back of the line, bro. You were supposed to be able to take him down. You couldn't do it. Got out wrestled. You guys had a great wrestling match at the beginning of that fight. Awesome. Arnold let you know he wasn't going to play that game. Then you had to box with a better boxer. Costa, he did a lot of turning moves, but all those moves were easily telegraphed. Dan Ige just didn't see it. Arnold Allen isn't Dan Ige, right? You figured that out now, and that's okay because it's learning. You've had a nice run, you take your loss, you go back. You got to remember, and this comes from me as a point fighter, you got to go A to B sometimes. When you do the spin moves, and he did it multiple times, he did not land hardly any of it, because Arnold knew it was coming. Arnold knew it. Arnold has great fight IQ. He literally hung with Gene Silva and got dominated, and instead of Silva finishing him at the end, he surfboarded. Right? That's humiliating, but at the same time, that's what happens in fights. That's what happens when things don't go your way. And sometimes you have to actually understand that. And that's where I say fight theory from fighters should be more well perceived in this industry, especially the UFC and MMA and combat sports, than any other host, expert. I stand believe it. If you want to call me I'm wrong, then tell me I'm wrong. But clearly for the past year, the Fight Club of Pain has become one of the best UFC podcasts out there. But it doesn't just stop there, people. It just doesn't stop there. We will get to that, and you'll understand what I got for this show. So let's get over to the betting side of things right now. Let's talk about how did we do? All right. Well, how did we do? Overall, for both the 3 fights we covered on the MVP card, which of course was the Diaz, Nagano, and Rousey fight, and then of course the 13 fight card for the UFC 117, I went 12-4. Not bad. I did take Nate Diaz. I don't know why, but I had a lot of money on Mike Perry. Believe that, son. If you'd have watched the show, you'd be our rich friend. That's why you have to watch the Fight Club of Pain. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. If you haven't noticed, the Fight Club of Pain has the first part of the puzzle. The Five-tastic Picks has the next part of the puzzle. And then the subs-only Discord is where you get access to me. That alone this weekend would have paid for itself. But we did that 2 weeks ago when we took down the slates. And we took them down again this week too. So, that being said, Parlay of Pain went 2 and 3. It happens. But my 5-play money line, parlay with round robin, 5-0. Went 3 and 2 on the money line because of that Wellmaker incident. I just hope Wellmaker gets a really mean opponent next time and knocks his face off. The 5-tastics long shot went 3 and 2. So even though I had a little bit of that right there, that was all middle of the road. Some of these were positive bets. We were able to return close or just be right under what we invested. And then, of course, the 5-0 and all the other bets hit. Dan went 1 and 3 for the show. I went 2 and 2. Again, 75% overall rating, not so bad. DFS-wise, DFS Hero gave you Ardeline, Santos, Grule, Costa, Cagliari, and Bukakis. Hit. Get 2 losses. I had Cagliari, Wellmaker, Grule, Tokos, Brundage, and Gant. I went 4 and 2 too. For DFS slates on FanDuel, I hit 2 and 1. Now listen, this fight was complete. This fight card fell apart. There was fights missing, new people stepping up. It just smelled bad to me. That's why Dan and I chose to go away from this fight card the previous week before that. We just had to stay away because we just didn't want to really mess with it too much. And we wanted to highlight Nagano and Rousey. Why not? I mean, numbers, people. I ranked Wellmaker, Gant, Cavalcanti, and Costa. My worst ranking for DFS in a minute. That was bad. That's okay. Again, go to my subs-only Discord at Dr. Rhoda. You had the other lines to play and me to talk about it. When we go to the DFS numbers, I'm not going to get a lot because I want to get into my next thing. And this is gonna be nice. It's gonna be fun little thing for you. It's gonna be the Pro Forecast Magazine 12 expert league draft. So Brundage was 15%. Tokos was 21. Tokos still went distance. Tokos still had volume. Tokos still scored points. Grule, amazing, 23%. Cagliari, 26%. We'll leave it with that. The fact is that we nailed what we needed to nail. That was under the percentages, and that's what helped cashing. 2-1 on FanDuel, 3-1 on DraftKings. I scored on the captain spot DraftKings, and I played in one $5 snake contest, lost to my dude B Heels. B Heels and Ty Russo always going head to head with me. B Heels got me on that last fight. I had Costa and he had Allen. I should have swayed and I would have won. He beat me by like 5 points. So the win gave him that. Hey, it happens. I was hoping for a fast finish actually, because I just wanted to get that night over. So that being said, let's move along. Let's move along to what I got for you. And that is the Pro Forecast Magazine 12 Expert League Draft. When I was live on the Fight Club of Pain last week, I told Dan that I got 2 messages. One from Juicebox Walker, and then 2 from my guy Scott Atkins, who said, hey, it was a long text. I was like, man, I can't even read half this, and I tried to read it. But practically what it was it was him inviting me to, sorry about that, inviting me to a draft. Now, this draft actually went out perfect. So I was able to get into it, and the people that are in this draft were crazy. So let me give you a little bit of who was in this draft, just to give it like some context here. So first, you got your boy Heat Override and Dr. Roto. You got Linda from SB Nation. You had Nigel from FFWC. You had Kelly from WOFF. You had Matt B from On Sports Illustrated. We had Matt D from Fantasy Points. Scott Atkins himself from Full Time Fantasy. We had Nick McKay, from Sage. With Jason Worth from Icon Racing. Vegas Maddie from FootballContest.com. And then, of course, Mike G from Fanstar. That was the actual draft board. And each one of us is going, because this was for Pro Forecast Magazine's 12 Expert League Draft, everybody has to write an article for their draft. I can't believe I did that. I even lost my earpiece to the thing, but I really don't need that anyway. Talking with you people. Y'all can laugh. Sometimes things happen and we get to have fun with that, don't we? So, of course, overall, I don't know if you guys can really see that too well. So I'll pull it up on my end so that way I can, visualize it. So I don't want to go too deep into this draft. Now, I don't know why or I don't know how, but of course you can see the first pick overall was Jonathan Taylor. Happens. It should have been Bijan Robinson, but some people just like to pick. Bijan Robinson, Jamar Chase. We got Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jahmyr Gibbs was right before me. I had the 5th pick, right? I'm like, man, if I get Jahmyr Gibbs, that's cool. But I had Jahmyr Gibbs, Puka Nacua, and Jackson Smith-Njigba on the board. Like, I'm good with any of those 3, honestly. So what ended up happening was Gibbs went, I took Nacua, then JSN went McCaffrey, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Ashton Gianti, and Devon Achane. So now when you take a look back at that and you think about what just happened right there, what I just talked about is it's a pretty solid first round. That's a pretty solid first round. So at this point, I know that I got my receiver. I got my target monster, and I want to go 2 ways at this. I'm either going to go James Cook, and then I'm going to go Josh Allen, or I'm going to see what comes around. Maybe James Cook slips to me. Maybe James Cook doesn't slip to me. So this is right now taking a step into the mind of a DFS person like myself. At least the way I draft, what I like to do is be chaotic and do drafts. The thing is there are 11 other experts playing chess. When I'm playing chess, people, y'all play checkers, we play chess, extended chess. Chess where you got to make a move within 1 minute. And I'm fine making a move within 30 seconds, people. That's what we do. And that's what we train you for at Dr. Roto. Got to join, code word win, right? So get to the second round. Of course, it's a snake, wraps around. Achan goes to Neighbors. Then went James Cook. Dang. Then Rashee Rice. All right. You got lamb, you got rice. You got a nice meal cooking there for you, Adam. Then we get to the Justin Jefferson Taker. We got Drake London. Then we got Trey McBride, Derrick Henry. And right before I'm like, oh man, okay, do I go quarterback? Okay. I got two people on my mind, quarterback or running back. If I lose out on this quarterback, I'm good. Linda snakes me with Josh Allen. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see you. Linda. All right. Boom. I take O'Marion Hampton with the offensive line now strengthened and the fullback back. We should definitely see some improvements on that team. And you got to remember, the Chargers are one of those teams that just kind of just go up and around and all around. But I will tell you what, I'm taking a bell cow behind a revamped offensive line, and I am looking for some points, right? That's my opinion. Stick with it or don't with it. So now I'm thinking, all right. So I see the receivers going, and I'm like, okay, let's see how this goes now. So, boom, we come out. McMillan's next pick, Barkley, Collins, George Pickens, a little early. Then the guy goes Travis Etienne on the wrap. Then it goes Josh Jacobs, Brock Bowers. Now, right at this point, I'm like, I'm good with Kenneth Walker or Chase Brown. Because I feel that Chase Brown is more important than Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, or maybe like someone like Devonta Smith. So I go, okay, well, let's see what this guy gets. Well, actually, yeah, it was Jason Worth for Icon. Boom, Kenneth Walker. Fine. Chase Brown. So, of course, Linda comes up next. It's love. She goes, hey, me taking Allen, you got me back with Chase Brown. All right, cool. Flowers goes next. Drake May goes next. Higgins. Breece Hall. I was hoping for Breece Hall on the wrap. It didn't happen that way. Lamar Jackson, Devonta Smith. We'll do the wrap real quick. Colston Loveland. This is the 4th round. 4-1. Colston Loveland. We got Chris Olave. Jeremiah Price. I get it. Okay. All right. Jadarian Price. Okay. You got that starting job for a week. But when it comes to the playoff times in your fantasy football league, and you got Charbonnet, if Charbonnet's back by then taking them touchdowns away, you better hope you get enough work to get 15 points or 10, 15 points. Because you could have a 4 or 5 point week like Kenneth Walker had, and you lose out on 2 touchdowns, and now you could be out of the playoffs. Watch those picks, people. Watch those picks. But that is a good pick, though, overall. So then next goes Joe Burrow. Then Mike goes with Ladd McConkey. Nice. Then Kelly pops up with Sam Laporta. So I'm at this point, I'm like, all right, I'm good. I got 2 running backs. I got Nakua, Hampton, and Brown. I'm like, well, let's see. I like my Kyron Williams. We'll go with the Ram stack. No, Linda get me again. She's really mad about Chase Brown. Kyron Williams. All right, well, I went A.J. Brown. And then, of course, we had Williams go next. Jamal Williams, Dallas, running back. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Igbuka will flip to the 5th round. DJ Moore, got something for you on that. Okay, just let me look at it this way. DJ Moore is a perfect fit. A lot of people think he's going to be the number 1, and that is fine. Where there was Torrey Holt, there was Isaac Bruce. You'll remember who Isaac Bruce is. Khalil Shakir. So, or you should. Junkins goes, Scattaboo, Waddle. It gets to me. I don't care. I got this dude on a reach, and he performed great for me, and I'm taking him right now at this. So I can have 2 receivers and 3 running backs. DeAndre Swift. Ty Warren goes next. Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm fine with that. Evans. Irving. Henderson. McLaurin. And then we end out after McLaurin. Chris Watson. So, that being said, I want to talk a little bit about my draft going from here, because the rest will be in the fantasy football guide for Pro Forecast Magazine this year. So you're going to have to get in there. You have to read all of the articles that we have for you and kind of where we go with that. So So relatively speaking of what we were looking at, and so my draft went Nakua, Hampton, Brown, and Swift. That next round, I picked up Matt Stafford. I thought at this point it was time to actually put Nakua in there and get Nakua, his quarterback. Matt Stafford came back around, got Michael Wilson. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. But what I saw last year from Michael Wilson, I saw exactly what I needed to. And so for that was one of those things that I was really excited for. He won the league for me in my hometown league last year. So that would be, sorry about the dogs. There's a switch going on. So I am sorry about that. But so to get Michael Wilson, I ran it back with Michael Pittman. Pittman is going to get all of the under stuff. You hear everybody seeing this? The problem is I made this draft and I already knew that this was the way it was going to be because I knew Pittman of what he does. And I know exactly what my guy Wilson can do. He connected on the long balls. He made things happen for the Cardinals last year. And he did it better and was more consistent, especially at the end of the year, than Marvin Harrison Jr. It came to a point where I was trying to roll out Marvin Harrison Jr. for a luck touchdown. That's not what we do, people. That's not what we do. So as I get this together, I don't even know what's going on in my head and stuff today. It's fun. So now we get to that. Then I picked Shakir, Romeo Dobbs, picked my tight end, Johnson, took a chance with Brooks from Carolina, Mayfield, Kamara, Keenan Allen, Colby Parkinson. I picked this way because I wanted to bring in people. Now, the reason I took A.J. Brown is the reason why I took Romeo Dobbs. I took Romeo Dobbs because if A.J. Brown is not traded, then now I have Dobbs who wants the ball in New England. If for some reason A.J. Brown has it, I not only have the handcuff, I also have two receivers on the same team for a team that desperately needed quality pass catchers, and now they have both of them. So now Drake May can look better and not have to rely on some chumps. So, yeah, guys, Pop Douglas wasn't getting it done for you. Sorry if you're a Patriots fan. But that's the best part about it. All right. So now that we got through all that, and I can't wait to get that. This is the first time I ever got to be in a magazine. So it's kind of cool, people. Let's get to betting breakdown. Is it bragging when someone says, hey, I won this plus 500 for a first round knockout? Hey, I won it. I think in some context it is. It's saying, hey, come to our site and join us so you can get these bets. You're going to win with us. You're going to lose with us. Come with the ride. Come for the ride. Now, the thing about that is what really gets me is that I do this myself. But I try to keep a lot of it limited on here, which is why I don't cover my bets, because I do a lot of that on social media. I like to just put out my bets in stories or just put out a bulk of it, which includes the MLB, which includes the NFL when it's in season. But right now, I've been throwing in on NBA, the tennis, the UFC, all that stuff. All that stuff is there. Now, you can also say a lot of these. So what I feel is the difference of Bring the Pain as a podcast and a product that Dr. Roto and the Fight Club of Pain is that I have the option to talk with any sport. Now, there's just people who do UFC. No problem with that. The same people that do UFC actually also cover fight cards like PFL and a whole bunch of other things. So there's nothing wrong with any of that. That's the key and that's the goal. But for me at Dr. Roto, working for a site that charges you a lot less than a lot of the other DFS sites and betting sites and fantasy sports sites, is being part of that family. That's the difference. You just don't get me. You don't get me that monthly cost. You get the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dr. Roto. You get him live every Sunday before game lock for DFS and start and sit. You don't even get that much time from him on Sirius XM in the 2-hour shows. So that is why it's imperative to join Dr. Roto using the code word WIN. and be part of it. Now, it's to me, it's not bragging. It's saying this is what we do. We all do it. That's why you see the green screen mafias, the green screen trains. You see everybody doing their green screen. I'm bringing pain bringers, bringing pain. We turn pain into products on the UFC side. On the football side, ultra contrarian side, we turn touchdowns into profits. See, things work out. Now tennis, then my MLB. My MLB content hit some parlays this week. Almost hit that double home run. That would have been cool, but I did hit a home run, threw up Costa McGovern, threw a profit boost on that, was able to pick some money, and that was in my article. So you're getting all of this. And some people could say, well, do you feel spent between all the sports? Not really. The point is to have your methods, have your system, and stick with it. I did a whole podcast on this and what methods and why my method is actually translatable between every sport it talks. Of course, I can't get anything go with like with NASCAR. If a crash happens, a crash happens. That's what happens. But also at the same time, as we got the craziest of things, at the same time, that same method is always there for all of you to take advantage of at Dr. Roto. So for me, that's what you get. Then you throw in Lou. Then you throw in Danger. Then you throw in Coach Al. Then you throw in Kickman. Then you throw in Fuego Steve. Then you throw in everybody else that's part of the Fantasy Clown. Ed, you throw him in. Then you even get interactions between some of the subscribers during the season because they kind of know that we have jobs and we do things. And I fight. And now that I'm getting back into tournaments next week, my time is going to be limited. So you might not get all the stuff that you get from me, but that's where the other experts stick up. That's where we're in there for that fantasy baseball coverage. That's what Lou does with his podcast. So that is something I want to do. I don't think it's bragging. I'm trying to shake you. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, we hit a plus 3,500 with King Ring. We told you so. Yeah, we hit some other stuff. We told you so, right? Now, that's saying come to our site, take our knowledge, and win with it. And if you don't, or you got your own thing, or you think you have a better plan, then by all means, do your plan. But I will promise you this, you will be our rich friend if you come to Dr. Roto. We have the right cure for all of your fantasy needs. So let's saddle up, and before we get out of here, ending thoughts, man, I want to say thanks to everybody behind the scenes, producers, everything. I pretty much produce my show 100 now. That's the way it is. That's the way we do it. So I hope that people, man, I love being that one-man show, Planet Brainbringer. We do our things. Dan comes on, whips it out. But there's a lot of people behind the scenes. Doc, Danger, all the guys, Matt, everybody that puts up with my articles. Sometimes I get crazy. I do wild things. So I want to say thanks. I also want to say thanks to Scott for being able to reaching out to Doc. And Doc, knowing that I can get it done, that I can bring the pain for the Dr. Roto brand against the Pro Forecast Magazine Fantasy Draft. I feel that I'm going to win this league. Everybody feels that. We'll see what happens, right? But that's the best part about it. So we went through the UFC. We went through the MMA. Knockouts I had under 1 minute submission on Ronda Rousey. That went off perfectly. So plus 550. Everybody knew. I said it a month ago. I said it 3 weeks ago. Everybody knew who was an actual fighter. If you took your eyes off of Gina Carano, you knew that Rousey was going to run over there, grab her up, and submit her. And she did it. Also, you also knew Nagano was going to knock out our boy Phils. And he did that too. And we got a lot of money. I played end of the round stuff. I don't know what Phils was trying to do, though. He was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to go slug with him. It ended exactly the way I thought it. It was close to it. So I said that he's going to pop him with the uppercut and turn his face back on the Fight Club of Pain. Me and Dan kind of laughed about it. Instead, what he did, he led with the uppercut and he hit him with the right hook. So, or no, it was the back. It was the back right, and then the left hook came over. That's right. But yeah, so that right there alone did it. It gave us good money. We did end of the rounds. So I did under second round, -115. So that was huge. And a lot of my numbers on Nagano and the parlay I had for all three, which I had Nagano by knockout. I had the Diaz fight going under, which was a positive. And then I had the Rousey submission round one. And that was plus, I think it was a plus 1,600 three-leg parlay, all hit, round robin, all hit. So this is what I'm talking about when I say, is it bragging or is it not bragging? Because I'm not trying to brag. I'm trying to tell you the methods without exposing my methods to all of you, because my methods are me. That's my own thing. Those are my models. And that's what I stand by. Every sport that I do. The fact I took my NFL and MLB model, turned it into a UFC product, then turned it into a tennis product now, only shows that sometimes you could think that you're a jack of all trades, but you're never the best at one. That's probably why I finish at first place at tennis a lot. So that slingo, that doesn't exist at Dr. Roto. What exists is making you our rich friend. Like I constantly say, I believe that. We all work hard for that, and we all work hard for you. This week on Thursday, of course that says next week, but this week, when I put that in there, Dan and I will be covering comics. It will not be live. It will be a behind-the-scenes recorded episode that I will release at my own time. Also, I am pretty close to completing one of my podcasts. I've been waiting for it for a little bit. It's a VGM, which is Video Games Music Hall of Fame entry. I'm going to be submitting Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo from the 3DO. Yes, Super Street Fighter Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 was one of the best, still is the best fighting game of all time. But on the 3DO, it was on another level. The music was beautiful. They had remixed it. It was CD quality. I'm going to throw in my normal stuff, and then you will get a preview to my 4th episode. Those are all behind the books off of the Dr. Roto site. That's why you have to follow Bring the Pain on Facebook and Bring the Pain on Spreaker or any podcast listening service that you use. I'm everywhere. Spotify, Deezer, Apple. I'm on it, people. It exists. So just get over there and check that out. However, Dan and I will be back next week. The Fight Club of Pain will be live next Thursday for UFC Macao in China. Now, this card's going to start at 4 o'clock in the morning, so there ain't going to be no live bets. I'm going to be getting up, and I will be writing a MLB betting article, an MLB DFS article, and then going into work for an hour and coming home, and then that will be over. So that's that. I cannot wait to get done. That's going to be some fun. I know Dan and I are ready to get back to UFC. We got Song versus Figueiredo. Figueiredo took that loss a long time ago. Now he's on the up and swing. Song has been completely dominant recently. These two guys are ready to clash. But like I said earlier, make sure you follow Dr. Roto on YouTube, on the X. Let's keep these videos coming. Doc has amped everything up. He is doing his best to give you as much fantasy football and draft coverage. Hopefully you liked that board. Hopefully you saw what kind of went down to see what it's like to draft against 11 experts. This is something I do, people. This is why I'm picking their players. They're picking my players. You gotta be a chameleon. Ooh yeah, like the Macho Man Randy Savage. You gotta adapt. Gotta adapt. So like I wanted that Ram stack. I only got 2 out of the 3 players. Got Parkinson's at the end. So that's a big part of the Rams offense, of course, between Higbee and Parkinson. So I accomplished what I set out to do. And I hope for any more of that advice, you get over to Dr. Roto and check us out by using code word WIN. All right, everybody, I want to say thank you to all the people that watched this. I hope maybe some of this helped you, became educational, maybe intrigued you to join the site today. But like I always say, if there's one thing you always got to do, you always got to remember to bring the pain. Ooh, yeah. Have a great
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. Until the next visit, be well and take care.